Yo, what up people? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 327. And now I'm seeing why Oda did what he did as far as Usopp being so careless. And it really makes the point I made about that ship, kind of representing that bond between Kaya and Usopp. Because Usopp isn't there when they hear the news that the Mary will never be able to set sail again, and it's because of all the damage that it's taken. And the volume ends off like that, and that is a huge thing, because Luffy and them have to pay for an entire ship at this point. And it doesn't help that it looks like Usopp got his ass whooped and got his money stolen out the two briefcases. So now it looks like they're down to 100 million berries, unless Luffy didn't take all the gold. I would hope that Luffy and Nami and them didn't take all the gold to cash it out. But then again, better safe than sorry. I feel like if you go all in, go all in. But knowing they got to pay for a whole ship now, that's pretty damn crazy. And just knowing about now, if they got 300 million berries, if it's going to cost that much, that means Kaya spent a nice chunk of change or parted with a nice investment for the Straw Hat Pirates, really Usopp. So that's, wow, that is huge. That is huge. And for me, the Mary is almost like a character in itself. And I feel like when I read this, I really felt like I did when I was first experiencing Naruto for the first time, and Tsunade tells Rock Lee that he'll never be a ninja again. Well, we know how that turned out. So I'm really hoping that something like this is what's going on, where the ship really can be fixed, but they might have to do something, pretty drastic. So one of the things that we find out in the last chapter that bleeds over into this one is that Khalifa and Iceberg, they're very well informed. In the last chapter, I left it out, I didn't feel like it was that important, but they had intelligence on how many members of the Straw Hats there were and what the total bounties were. And so in this chapter, Iceberg is asking Luffy, you've got a woman named Nico Robin on your ship. And Luffy's like, yeah, Robin, she's pretty smart and she's awesome. And he's just, yucking it up, talking to him. And he's giving a lot of information. And while Iceberg and Khalifa seem like very trustworthy people, at the same time, you gotta watch how much you divulge to people you just meet. That's one of those things that Luffy's too trusting, but with a guy like that, you can get away with it because Luffy at the end of the day probably just turn you into Bellamy and clobber your ass. And so you have stuff like that, but at the same time, Robin being shown to have really good ears, I really feel like that's something that reflects on with everything else that's going on with the people that are around them. Chances are somebody else is hearing the stuff that Luffy's saying, or somebody's watching. The whole purpose of Robin's character, as brief as it is, and having her past brought up in the last arc, is to really show you the importance of being aware of your surroundings. And that's how Usopp got caught slipping, and looks like he got mollywopped. So this is one of those things. There are little teaching moments in this, man. You have to be very aware of yourself and aware of your surroundings. So like I say, it might not go there at that point, but that is something kind of stuck out to me. But watching everyone kind of walk through the shipwright and to see how the shipyard, and to see how everyone's just kind of like, oh, it's Mr. Iceberg, can you look at this? And they're building this huge, massive ship. And one of the things that we see is everyone respects this guy, and it's just like, he's literally royalty. And it really brings me to something that, is said in Poor Dad, Rich Dad, okay? It's a finance book, but there's so many, different life lessons that are in that you can apply to other things. And one of the things that that book makes a point of, I'm going to paraphrase, is my poor dad thought that getting money was the end goal. My rich dad thought that living your dream is the goal. And I really feel like we're seeing that here. With how respected Iceberg is, that's what you want. He's got all these different titles and he's probably making a shit ton of money, but his passion is fixing ships. That's what he's doing right now. All that other stuff don't matter. That's where he's happiest. That's what's home to him. And so that's the big thing. Passion over money. I mean, obviously you got to pay the bills, but passion, doing what you love, sooner or later it'll all balance out. And I mean, we really see it in a character like this, so it's really cool to just see that kind of mixed into that. And I really like how one of the things that we see is as they're kind of moving through, Luffy's just letting it all sink in, and you know in the back of Luffy's mind he's just like, you're gonna be on my crew, you're gonna be on my crew, and you're gonna be on my crew, but first, hey, you're the mayor, right? Fuck all this mayor stuff, come join my crew. Like, just little stuff like that. Like, Luffy is aiming for the top, didn't work, and he gets told, like, look, if you can find someone who's willing to join your crew, go right for it. And I'm really thinking it might be this Rob Lucci guy, you know, the guy who's got the parrot and the parrot speaking for him. You know, hell of a fighter too, but, you know, parrot speaking for him, and I really feel like maybe that's who's going to join the crew. You know, he's got a funny, this isn't the one with the funny shit nose, that's the, Kaku guy, but I really feel like that's the guy Luffy's going to end up targeting, because Luffy and him have a funny little banter. He's telling the pigeon, like, hey, you pigeon, you go pick your own fights. Don't make somebody else go fight them. You know, I could see that. Nice little banter, and it will fit in perfectly with the Straw Hats. But at the same time, I could maybe see that being a rival, so I don't know how that will work. You know, we do get the message that you should watch who you're around even though you're in that ship, and so I could see something like that. Maybe this guy is working double for the Frankie family. I'm not too sure. And just speaking on that crew right there, the family and all that, like, that's pretty smart. It's pretty smart. It's backwards hustling, and I know a lot of you guys don't know what I'm referring to on that. Backwards hustling, when I say that, that's where you have, I'm going to break it all the way down for you. That's where you have, like, your guys who look at your D-boys, your dope boys and all that, and they say, too many guys are selling drugs. I'm not going to sell drugs. I'm just going to rob the people selling drugs. And that's essentially what they're doing. They're saying, we're not going to be pirates, and it's too much work to just bounty hunt. If we catch somebody slipping in, we can catch the bounty. We'll catch somebody slipping, catch the bounty. But if we just break down all these ships and part them out and leave these pirates stranded, sooner or later we'll get both. We'll double dip, and that's what they're doing at this point. It's a very dangerous game, because sooner or later you're going to run into somebody who's not going to take too kindly to the type of methods that you're using. But that family, very lucrative, and I like how one of the things we get told is Iceberg says, don't underestimate Frankie, don't underestimate him, Luffy. So looks like that might be the main villain. And it's very interesting that this is going on so close to the Navy headquarters, because if that's the case, we could see the Navy kind of coming in at a certain point. I mean, I really feel like Oda's working towards something really grand in this arc, but we're too early on to really know where he's taking this. So my chapter question to you all is going to be, what were your thoughts about Rob Lucci and the parrot? What were your thoughts on that? But as always, guys, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. Thank you for watching, guys.